Thank you, everybody. Tom was not going to answer any questions, but I think he did a wonderful job, and it was really fun information. Okay, at this point, it's our wonderful events chair, Kent.
Well, good morning, everybody. I think the first thing we need to do is address the elephant in the room, which is the room. We are here simply because we don't have the numbers yet to justify the bigger room. If we put this crowd in the bigger room, it would look like a postage stamp. Part of the problem is that we still are not getting an accurate number or an accurate representation of how many people are going to be here. It is better. I won't tell you it isn't. Going to the 2-button system in the newsletter has really helped, and it's improved. But those are the only 2 options, and so I want everybody to be aware that if you're going to come to the general meeting, to a breakfast, to any event, your options for registering for that event, either to register and pay at the door for the member price or to purchase a ticket, are the 2 buttons in the newsletter. Okay? Those are the only 2 that we have access to, that we can put a number together. And our problem today is we again ended up with more people than we knew were coming. And the reality is, if we get an accurate count, we can move into the bigger room. I should point out to you that these rooms are not free. Okay? They charge for these rooms, and Toulouse has very graciously waived the room charge for us, so that we can accommodate these meetings. So in the bigger room, there is a bigger cost, and it costs the restaurant a significantly higher sum to air condition it, staff it, do all the things that we need to do. So we have to have our numbers up to justify it. And until we get those numbers up, we're not going to be able to move into that room. We're getting closer, but that's the reason we're in this room. So your cooperation is important, and just understand, please, that we're working in that direction. But it's going to take more of us in coming to meetings before we can make that happen. So, there really isn't a lot of new information to give you. The 2 most immediate events, of course, are the one we talked about, which is we talked about doing but haven't pulled the trigger on yet, is the happy hour at Duke's Maya, which we're going to do towards the end of every month. Hopefully we will get that up and going in October. As soon as we have the details on the contract signed and the things that we need in order to assure ourselves that both sides are in agreement, then you'll see that posted in the newsletter, and the buttons for purchasing tickets will be there. And by the way, going forward, for all of our special events, GMs at this point we haven't done it for, and the breakfasts we haven't done it for. I wouldn't tell you we're not going to at some point. But for all other events, the one-time events like the Christmas party, the Christmas brunch, the barbecue, those things, there are going to be a limited number of tickets. And we do that because when we are dealing in this day and age, and I'm telling you, the world has changed. It is not the same as it was 2 years ago when you go to negotiate with people. Numbers are critical, and that gives us a number that we can go to somebody and we can be accurate about what we're going to do. And that helps in their planning, it helps in our planning. So there will be a limited number of tickets. When they're gone, they're gone. And that's probably going to apply eventually to our breakfasts and GMs as well, depending on the size of the room that we're able to get. We pretty much maxed this one out, and I would tell you that we're just about 55 or so. So we got a ways to go before we can get into a bigger space, and we're going to have to make sure that we accommodate conveniently, comfortably the people that do come. So we're going to go to maximum number of tickets, and the system will automatically shut off if you go in and push the button to register. You're going to get a sold out message. So I would tell you that that's coming, and it's coming for all of our special events and probably the breakfast and general meetings as well shortly. The other one, of course, is the barbecue, and that's coming up November 5th, which is just around the corner. That is coming together extremely nicely. I think that's going to be a great day. It's going to be out at Horizon Village, as we've talked about. The menu has been finalized with Duke's. They're going to do all the barbecue for us. It is a Western style barbecue, so it will be what people, at least I think Americans more than anything else. I don't know how Brits and Aussies do barbecues, but I'm guessing it's pretty much the same. No, it's not? Oh. Well, you're going to get treated to a Western style barbecue. And the food, the food list is fantastic. It should be a lot of fun. That will be out there, and somebody's going to talk later, so I'm not going to take their steam away, but there's another new event that we've added to the barbecue this year that should be an awful lot of fun, and I'll let them talk about that later. Again, all we are waiting for on that one is the final contract so that we can confidently put the tickets in the system, and that should hopefully pop up within the next week. So we'll start selling those out, and there will be a limited number of seats to that. The other things, the Christmas party and Christmas brunch, we will get to at the next one. They are well in progress, and you know, these things are starting to fall. The dominoes are finally starting to fall, so we'll do that. We do not have any news at this point on a wine tasting. We've talked about it, but that has not come together at all for us yet. So hold on to that one. We'll keep working on it. So that's about all I have. Thanks again for coming. If you need anything, you have any questions or want to give me any suggestions or whatever, I will be around for a little while after the meeting. Otherwise, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, briefly. Yeah, all I want to say is that I used the ticket tailor a few days ago, and it was much simpler than before.
Terrific.
You no longer, it comes up in Thai if you have a Thai credit card, and you no longer have to say where you live and all your address and everything. It just came through in literally 90 seconds.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we've added a new feature into there that you actually, for those of you who have a PayPal account, you have the option of going into PayPal and using it. If you don't want to go into PayPal even to use a credit card, which is where we ran into the language problem, you now don't choose the PayPal thing, you choose the credit card option right off the main screen. And that avoids PayPal altogether as far as the question for anybody that had, you know, am I creating my own PayPal account? I don't like PayPal. You can avoid PayPal, which is a good thing. And it does not have the language issue. So, good. Thank you. Dave.
Every September, since I've been a member, since 2016, the president stood up here and said, elections for the board are coming up, and we need some folks to come and help us. We have 2 retiring members this year. Julia is retiring and buying a condo back in Connecticut. God bless you. And Laura has finished her sentence, she says.
Good behavior.
Well, that's debatable, but we're certainly going to let it go. But so anyway, we need some folks on the board. We're short one person right now, and that's an important person because it's our sponsor manager, and that's what funds the club. So I just wanted to, I've been asked to spend a few minutes telling you what the obligations of these folks are and what kind of time commitment it is. We have 11 board members. And just to be on the board, there's a 1 hour and 45-minute meeting once a month, in which we provide you a lunch after the 1 hour and 45-minute meeting. So 15 minutes of coffee, we work for an hour and a half, and then we have a bite to eat. That is the initial obligation to come and participate. And then, like Kent, is our chair of our events and venues. So him and his committee work on trying to find these places. And that is probably one of the more difficult jobs. It takes a little bit more time. There's 3 people on his committee. Julia spends some time on programs. How much time would you say you spend a month doing this?
It evened up, I mean, it's not as much now. The ideal is to get your speakers lined up for the season. I would say it averages out to maybe an hour a week.
So we need somebody that you think you would be good at putting these things together. Her last meeting for us is January, right? The last one you're planning?
No, I will not be here for the January.
Oh, you'll be here for
I'll be here for
November.
November, okay. So between now and then, we've got to find somebody to do that. Then there's officers, there's a president, a treasurer, and a secretary. And right now, we don't have a secretary. He got sick and ended up in the hospital. I'm holding both the president and the treasurer's office, unfortunately. The president's actually not a bad job, unless you have a lot of other jobs with it. It's basically running the meetings. The treasurer is probably the job that takes the most work. It's probably, I don't know, 30 or 40 hours a month that it takes. But we need a sponsor manager, we need people, and anybody that's interested, please come to a meeting. Let us buy you lunch. You can see what it's all about. You can see what it's like.
Dave, as a sweetener to the program committee position, I have several potential speakers lined up for next year.
Okay. What did I miss in the back? Oh, never mind. So anyway, we need some folks. Does anybody have any questions yet?
No, Dave, I was just gonna point out, if they wanna come to a board meeting, let us know so that we can have lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Just send us an email that says you want to come. They're the first Wednesday of every month, unless the Wednesday falls on the first or the second, and then it's the second, because we need time to produce financial statements. Every month, month in and month out, you can count on it. It starts coffee 10:15 to 10:30, a meeting from 10:30 to 12. Almost never goes over. Sometimes it's short, and then we grab a quick bite to eat. And anybody that wants to come and see, try it out, drive it, is certainly welcome to do so. And I don't know if could all the board members that are here stand up, please, so you can visit any of these people and talk to them. So there you go. All these folks are working for you now. So any questions or comments?
Dave, it isn't just a bite that you get for the board meetings, it's a delicious lunch with great dessert, etc.
Salad, entree, dessert, really good dessert.
Okay. My informality doesn't serve me well from time to time. Does anybody else have any questions or comments, or want to know anything about this, or want to like stand up and say, yeah, I like that, I'll do it right now? This has been a struggle for a long time. I remember seeing Nancy in September of 2016 standing up on a stage in the La Meridian Hotel making the same speech that she had made for the previous 4 years when she was president. And every subsequent president's had the same challenge. We're here to retire and we don't want to work, generally, but there's got to be a handful of us that actually work. I think we're struggling a lot with events for trying to keep costs where they were, but I mean, you know, from going to the grocery store, that's just not going to happen. We're going to see some cost increases, although we fought real hard to keep this meeting at the same price and the breakfast at the same price, but I don't think we're going to hold that much longer. So if there aren't any questions, who's next?
Thanks, Dave, and thanks for all the work you do. We couldn't do this all without you. Okay, Okay, this is just a little bit of a break time, but before I let you go to the toilet if you need to, I wanted